Welcome back to the Center for Off-Road Research and Shenanigans and Science Technical Division. And in the last video, you remembered we had an Orlandoo Hunter on, and that gave me an idea, since it uses the exact same plug that the SCX24s use, to see if I couldn't make one of these batteries fit into the SCX24, and it will, no problem. And I just want to make sure the polarity is correct. And it is. There's no problem there. They both have the ridge on the top and the red on the right side, so that's good. I always like to check polarity before I fry things. And in this video, we're going to look at these smaller batteries, and I think it'll give it a much better center of gravity when you mount these up high, like in the V3 bouncer from Mofo. It mounts the battery on the top, so anytime you can take weight off the top, it's the same thing as adding it to the bottom, except your motor stays cooler because it has less to push. So with that said, I'm just going to do a comparison between batteries. These are some 500C batteries that I put a piece of tape over because it looks better than my E1 Super, but we'll find. And I've got extra Velcro on them since I run Velcro instead of tie-down straps. That's 29 grams for the 500. This is the Venom 430, and it seems like a good battery, but it's a little on the heavy side too. 28.7. Here's a stock battery, again with tape, and that tape probably adds a gram, and the Velcro 24, so it's about 4 grams lighter, but it's, I mean, that's something, but it's not huge. So since I run Velcro on it, I'm going to go ahead and stick the Velcro on it right now, and that way I'll get a proper weight in its running configuration. So there we go. 14. So that is that really 10 grams lighter than stock? Good gracious, it is. Well, that's going to be actually probably pretty huge, and it's a 2600 mAh battery, I believe. Yeah, no, sorry, 260. So it's a lightweight battery, but it will not have the runtime of the 430 or the 500s or even the stock one. And I went ahead and got 2 of these Orlandoo batteries because I figured if I really like them, then I'm gonna want more than one, because they're not going to last as long. But having said that, next thing we're going to do is, first of all, I charge this up now, and I should have done that already, but I didn't. I'll charge this, and then we'll do some incline tests just to find out what they can do. I'll go from I'll start with I don't know, this one was the heaviest, the 500 mAh battery, so I'll do this one, then I'll jump down to the stock battery, and then I'll put in this one. And I have a feeling that this battery is going to crawl really well. I like to charge my batteries on a metal surface, if not inside of my LiPo bag, and I'll just set this up right. So I've got a LiPo balance charge, set it on 2S. I'm going to drop it all the way down to 300 mAh because I can't do 260. So that'll be close enough. It's 0.3 amp. And I'll let it fly. We'll check back in a little bit. I was just looking at this battery, and it says 5C max charge, so if we wanted to, I could have stepped this up to 1200 for instead of 300. And it would have charged faster, but it'll wear the battery out quicker if you charge it at a high rate, so I'll wait. Alright, the first battery on the wall will be the G-Force 500 mAh, and just to measure the wall angle, I've got it at 56 degrees, and that's about the limit of what this is going to be able to do with that heavier battery up front. See how we're carrying a wheel off the ground? It will climb at 56, even with big tires and big battery. So that's a pretty fantastic chassis, really. I'm really, this has been my favorite one for performance since I got it, and so far nothing has beat it in my experience. You can hear my dog scratching on the other side of the door. This time I've stepped down to a stock battery, same angle. We'll see if it can't just walk up the wall, no problem. That was not even an issue. So let's find out. And that's only a 5 gram difference. That's not much. That's just a tiny bit off. So as you can see, 5 grams off the top of a lightweight rig really makes a difference. That has no trouble climbing. It's carrying a wheel, but let's steepen the angle up and I'll figure out what that is off camera and then show you the run up the hill on camera. This is a run with the stock battery, and I'm finding out that a 4 gram difference on the top of this rig doesn't actually make that much difference because it still climbs at 56 degrees. It may be a little bit steeper 56 than the other one, like 56 point something, but I didn't measure it that close before. But 56 degrees is about all I can do with a 4 gram lighter battery. So now it's time to put in the Orlandoo battery and see what it can do. This is something you might want to consider if you're building a bouncer and you don't have a lot of space within the chassis of your actual bouncer for the batteries. This battery itself is not that much less powerful. It's only about, I think, 80 mAh less, but it's quite a bit smaller in dimension. It's narrower and it is shorter. It's slightly thicker, but not much. So that could be to your benefit. And just for clarification, I thought this was a 270. It's a 260. So it is 90 mAh different. So you're going to get about a third less runtime out of it. Alright, this is the car moving for the first time with an Orlandoo battery. Tower's right up. Not even a problem. We saw it tipping on the last one, and this time it doesn't even seem to have a problem at all. So even if the numbers don't say it's different, you can tell just by the video that it's more stable and more easily able to climb with that just 10 grams less on the top. So it's time to steepen it up and find out what I can get out of it. I have measured this out and it's sitting right at 58.0 degrees, and I have climbed it, and I'm proving right now that it's on the edge, but it'll climb at 58 degrees with big tires and the Orlandoo battery. So that is a big difference in climb performance just by taking 10 to 15 grams off the top. Also, if you have a truck that, you know, scale trucks are cool, but when you start adding stuff to the top of it, you are diminishing your climb performance every time you do that. If you're into scale and you don't care, by all means, you have a cool looking truck. If that's your thing, man, go for it. But if you're gonna do hardcore crawling with these things and try to get the most out of it that you can, the weight on the top is very detrimental, and I think this shows that. Now I'm going to take it on the center over here, and we'll see how it does subjectively on the rocks. I'm going to start off with a run that I don't know if it can do, because I've never tried this car on this route very much. I may have in the past, I just don't remember. And it is a fairly difficult run for any car. I know long wheelbase cars can sometimes do it. I don't know that I've ever had a short wheelbase car make this line before. If I can just get one tire to break over the top and kind of hook in, it'll do it. But there's multiple break points here for that tire to break over on the front axle and get a good grip. One thing you'll notice that as I gunned it, it had no tendency to want to backflip, so that's a good thing. With a heavier battery, it's going to go over backwards a lot sooner. I had not a lot of hope for that run. We'll try another one. This is also kind of a test of how long that Orlandoo battery can last. I've never driven a car that had that small of a battery before. I will say that it subjectively does feel different. Like I said, less tendency to backflip. Another thing possibly is a lighter rig might sit a little bit higher on the springs. That's not going to matter much in a steep climb because it's going to be pretty much flexed out anyway due to the torque rise. But I think it does have a little more. Like I said, I've only done this particular line with the long wheelbase car. I think under the right circumstances, this one could do it. I just haven't yet. Try a different line. This is a cool line because this is the one where the actual rock that you're crawling on is more narrow than the wheel track. So you've got to take it up sideways. And this is where, if you do it wrong, it'll backflip. I got a front wheel to break over the top, and that really made it look easy. It's not a particularly easy run, but for this particular rig it is. I'm going to drive it some more, but I see really no downside to this battery at the moment. It's really nice. It gives the car a center of gravity that it has never had before. There's a little bonus material that I had not thought about, but I've never made it down this path with a stock truck without, or not even stock truck, with this truck, the V3. I've never made it down with the stock battery where it didn't flip. You just saw me do it and it didn't even look that hard. But every other time I have ever tried it with this particular chassis, and every other chassis except for my really long wheelbase Enduro 24, and I think I made it down with my E1 Super as well. But this is my first short wheelbase chassis that's made it down without forward flipping. So that's another benefit I hadn't even considered. I'm sure it will side hill better, and I might just try that real quick. I've got a good side hill area right here in front of me. We'll see how it does. I can get the wheel up there. Oh yeah, side hill is definitely improved. I like everything about this battery. That is a big upgrade. You can see it sits pretty small inside of the chassis there, and it doesn't really put a lot of weight up top. And I think it's lighter. Obviously, it's less for the motor to push. And I'll bet if I got that to sit even flatter, it might be able to do even better. I'm still waiting for somebody to build a chassis that side mounts the battery, because if you could side mount it, you'd get it even lower, much lower CG, like right there. Just include that, just a bump out on the side to hold the chassis or hold the battery. Anyway, I don't know why you couldn't do that. I may put back together the V4 bouncer and mount the battery vertically like this, because I think there may be enough room inside of it if I go with the stock battery. So maybe something for a future video. I still have the V4 chassis. It's currently disassembled, but I might put it back together like I said. Anyway, that's all for tonight. Talk to you later.